Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. Do me a favor, please smash the like button and please subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. Those help a lot with the algorithms. You know the spiel. The case of Anna Kepner is getting weirder by the moment. An article in the New York Post states that Anna Kepner's younger brother, Connor, reportedly heard yelling and chairs being thrown inside Anna's stateroom on the cruise, and that would have been the night when she was harmed. So the night before she was found dead under the bed in the cabin. That story is according to Anna's former boyfriend, a guy named Joshua Weston. The apparent commotion went down as Anna was locked inside the cabin alone with her 16-year-old stepbrother. Weston said he learned of all of this from Anna's 14-year-old brother, Connor, who was also staying in the cabin, but apparently was locked outside at some point. Weston is quoted as saying this of Connor: he heard the stepbrother yelling at her in a harmful way of like, shut the hell up, and stuff like that. And that's when the brother knew there was something going on. Weston also said that Anna did not feel safe around this stepbrother because he carried a knife. And according to this Weston guy, Anna was too scared to tell anybody for fear the stepbrother would do something to her. Here's what I want to know. What happened with Connor if he's hearing a commotion in there and he's worried about his sister? Why isn't he pounding on the door? Or was he pounding on the door? Why didn't he go and get his dad and bring him back to the cabin and say something's going on? Why didn't he get somebody from security maybe to help get that door open? And then there's also the issue of supposedly Connor slept in the cabin that night. And supposedly he noticed that Anna's bed was empty, but he went to bed. And then the next morning when Anna wasn't at breakfast, that's when they began searching for her. This story is not making total sense. If he heard that commotion, would he really just go to bed when his sister isn't in the bed over there? I am so very confused. Things are not adding up at all. Now remember, we heard about this whole situation of the father and the stepmother knowing what happened to Anna, but telling the press that they had no idea what happened to her. We learned that from Anna's biological mother, Heather, Heather's brother, a guy named Martin Donahue. So that would be Anna's uncle on her biological mother's side. And Martin was ticked off because he was saying he didn't understand why Christopher and Chantel were not telling the truth, and that they knew perfectly well what happened to Anna, how her body was found, wrapped in a blanket or a sheet stuffed under her bed, with life vests kind of concealing her. Honestly, I don't know how Connor could go to bed if he wasn't sure where his sister was after hearing a commotion in the cabin. Now, maybe what Weston is telling the press and the New York Post, maybe that's not true. But so far, everything we've heard seems to be panning out. The rumor that Anna died by asphyxiation is true. If the stepbrother was applying pressure like that, he should have known that he could unalive her. So I don't think it could be an accident. Maybe, maybe not. Sounds a lot like Stephen Stearns to me. With Maddie, remember that? What a horrible, messed up situation. It sounds like Anna didn't know who she could go to confide in, that she was afraid of this kid. She didn't have her bio mom in her life, Heather. Heather lives in Oklahoma. Anna lived in Titusville, Florida. I don't know if her father's second wife was somebody that Anna could call and confide in. A child should never be afraid to tell their biological parent that they're afraid of a stepbrother or sister or whatever. And Anna, despite all this chaos in her life, having her mother not there to nurture her, having a stepmom and then another supposed stepmom, and having to live with stepbrothers suddenly that she barely knew apparently. Despite all of that chaos, she was getting good grades. She had a plan for the future. She looks like she had her act together. She's a cheerleader. Parents need to protect their girls from potential predators. And a stepbrother like that is going to be a potential predator. Not all stepbrothers, but you never know. They only knew each other maybe a year at most, it sounds like. Protect your kids. And then I saw something on TikTok, and supposedly, I'm not sure I believe this, there was a post made supposedly, allegedly, by Anna's best friend that claims that Anna was alive all night into the next morning, and that Chantel and Christopher, the two parents, were aware of this, and they didn't rush to get her help, and that's why she was declared as dying at 11:17 a.m. Now, that story I was not able to verify anywhere in any legitimate news article, so I don't know if this TikToker made it up. Just keep in mind, it's unverified. This story is crazy, but would it be that crazy? Melange, keep your mouth shut, please. That's my cat. All right, that's all for tonight, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. Please smash that like button.